Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer Blather 220, the Oracles of Doom. This is not like the prophets of Doom. This is the Oracles of Doom. They never say anything with any precision. The Russians are coming! The Russians are coming! The Yellow Peril is upon us! The Califate of Europe is here. Throughout history, Doomsayers abound. You know, the dimwitted peddling the end of the world at the street corner, warning us of impending doom. Some are still screaming on Fifth Avenue that unless we repent, boom! God is going to make us disappear. Others are on MSLSD, warning of a similar fate if Donald Trump is re-elected. Yet others are grifting off of our discontent, warning that Holland is gone, England has fallen, or some such other nonsense. We have good news for you. The peddlers of doom are never right. As my friend over here always says, all will be well. In November, tell the peddlers of disaster, the augurs of defeat, the oracles of doom, to piss off. It's okay if you start now. And having said that, this is Saul Montes Bradley, the largest human repository of useless information. For some assholes out there, I may be the human suppository, but that's a different question. From my golden cage in Florida. And right next to me, right over there, is Thomas Victor, the one, the only living expert in World War I flamethrowers and a bunch of other useful stuff. I read this week, Thomas, that, yeah, it's okay to read Thomas on politics, but I really like it when he talks about his family and his garden and the troubles with the grass. So, you know, to each his own. We seem to have a multifaceted audience out there. Anyway, hello. We're gonna, by the way, don't you think, guys, that you're gonna walk away from this? This may not be NPR, but you are going to have a request for Moolah. But a little later, how about that? We're doing this, as usual, in our Odyssey channel, Quad Verum TV, in 3 lines in Twitter, my own, Quad Verums, and Thomas's, and he's here so that you realize that we haven't hijacked his account. He's very much in control of it. And you boob, albeit not for the whole show. You know the drill. If you don't know the drill, come over here to Odyssey. The link is there, and we'll work on it. So how is life in the land of fruit and flakes, my friend?
Well, you mentioned grass. My old lawnmower died, probably because the gas sat too long in the tank. We didn't empty it, and California gasoline, separates or whatever it does. So it was a cheap lawnmower, and I decided, I'll get a new one. And my brother said, I'll get you one. So he got me a lawnmower, and it came, and there was no bag in the back. There was no basket for catching the mowed lawn.
Oh, it just blows in your face.
Well, no. This is a California legal lawnmower, and bags are not allowed. It's got a side blower. I saw the blower, and I thought, what in the hell is that? It looks like an exhaust pipe on like a World War II tank or something. And the grass can either come out the blower, and this comes out on the left side, I believe, or you can close the blower, and then the grass will be mulched. And this is to get rid of the evil evil green waste in order to save the planet. So California's too stupid to know what to do with green
with grass clippings.
Yeah, they think that that's pollution. So exactly.
You're not serious. You're lying to me.
Oh, it said open the box and locate the manual. There's no manual, and then it said
yeah, we have to save paper.
Well, this is the thing. It's available only on PDF, and it's like, okay, so I get the PDF, and it tells me that this is. I looked at all these lawnmowers, or my brother looked at all these lawnmowers on Home Depot, and he said none of these are available in California, and it's because they all had the bag in the back. So this is a new lawnmower, and the new lawnmower.
It's mulch. It's mulch. It's fucking plant food. You put it around your trees.
But they're too stupid to know that. They don't know that. They're making stuff up as they go, and since everyone who's voted into office and then appointed by the governor is a raving idiot who knows nothing about nothing, they just make this stuff up, and they say, "Oh, well, grass clippings are pollution." So by about 2029, California is going to be. I mean, right now it's already. I saw a police video today that took place. LAPD answers a call of a crazy man with a knife running around demanding money, and when you say no, he threatens you or whatever. So they show up, they're looking around, and a different crazy man with a knife shows up and attacks them. So they shoot him, of course, because he brought a knife to a gunfight, and
what is that? Like a scheduling conflict?
Well, he's screaming like he had no idea this was going to happen. Like, how did it happen? And he was lucky, because if they'd shot him a bit lower in the pelvic bowl, as it's called, he probably wouldn't have made it, because people don't know this. You hear idiots all the time telling the cops, "Shoot me, shoot me, shoot me." You don't want to be shot by a cop. They use special bullets that are available only to cops, and they expand to about this big inside you. So they're designed to not over-penetrate, which means they have to figure out how to keep them inside your body. And the best way to do that is to turn the bullet into an opening flower, and it goes, and it makes a hole about the size of the diameter of my coffee cup. And
Nice.
so
that's what I use.
Well, the cop bullets are even more. I mean, these bullets are available only to cops.
They're bigger, but you know, I know we are in Yubu, but I don't give a shit anymore. I really don't give a shit anymore. I'm not gonna show you the gun anyway.
Either.
That would probably get me some kind of whoop, because the people in YouTube. But I can show you this, I'm sure, without violating any rules.
Well, here's what I use. This is a 38 special, and this is a you've got mine is deeper. I have a deeper hole than you. So
well, you've been using it in ways it wasn't intended to be used.
It has a weird little. It's really hard to see, but it has a little peg inside in the middle of.
Yes.
So
I have that in the revolver. This is for the pistol that I carry when I travel.
Yeah, I only use revolvers. I've just found. I mean, you can get a .357 Magnum that holds 7 rounds, and if you can't get the problem solved,
I have a .357 Magnum with 6 rounds. If you need the 7th round, you're in deep shit.
Well, this is the thing that people. Okay, people watch cop videos and you see cops unloading their magazine and they think that's what you have to do.
Mm-mm.
Never do that because I want to know where each round is hitting.
I do 3.
Yeah.
Double
So,
tap and 1.
well, I mean, I have a
When I say I do, I haven't done it on a Christian yet, but
I have
that's how I train myself. 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. Thank you, goodbye.
I have mine only for home defense, and I don't carry when I go out because I never go out. So I mean,
That's a good reason.
I mean, I do carry when I go out, but I'm just saying I don't. And it's. I mean, I'm not. If anything happens, I'm going to get the hell out of Dodge. I'm not going to get into a gun battle. I'm not one of those people.
Oh, absolutely. That's instant number 1. Get the fuck out.
I studied karate, and on the first day, the teacher said, I'm going to teach you the most valuable karate move you've ever seen.
Yes.
And he asked somebody to come up, and he said, all right, this is your enemy. Here's what you do. And he turned around and he ran out of the gym. And we all,
Perfect.
but I have no desire to get into a gun battle with anybody.
No. Who does unless they're fucking crazy?
Well, I mean, there's a lot you can do without having to get into a gun battle with someone. And I mean, I don't tell cops how to do their job, but I've seen plenty of cops take down the guy with a single round.
Yep.
It says in the video description that he didn't survive. And I've seen other cops unload their magazine and the guy, isn't even hit. So
yeah, and if it is a Spanish cop trying to stop a terrorist in Barcelona, you're going to have 1,200 rounds and the guy hasn't been hit yet.
Yeah, I mean, here in California, they can't keep police on staff. They have this. They hire people, and those people quit. They hire new ones. So these people have emotional breakdowns when they shoot somebody, and you can't do that. You have to be prepared. You're almost certainly not going to have to, but if it does happen, you have to be emotionally prepared to take somebody's life, and you can't. I saw a video tonight. It took place at a college in California where some giant drunk 20-year-old thug attacked 2 police officers, and they pepper sprayed him. He broke the hand of the female cop, even though she never got out of the fight. And when they had him handcuffed, he started saying, I can't do this. I'm freaking out. It's like, oh, so we're supposed to let you go? You twat, you pathetic weirdo. And at the end, they said 3 felony counts of battery on a police officer, expelled from the school, and trespass from all of school property. So it's like, your freak out has just begun, my friend.
You know, now that you're saying this, let me show you how an octogenarian reacts when confronted with a violent imbecile. The octogenarian is the second man in the moon, actually. Have you seen that one?
I don't remember.
Ooh. Okay, where the hell is this? Oh, there we are. Buzz Aldrin.
Mm-hmm.
You know these idiots who think that the moon landing was filmed in a studio?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. level conspiracy imbecile. One of them started chasing Buzz Aldrin down the street.
Perfect.
Where in the Bible that you walked on the moon? Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
I'm not trying to get in the middle of anything.
You can tell Buzz is getting uncomfortable.
We'll call
Right,
the police.
we pay.
Come on in here, we'll call the police. Solicit.
I have no
Why
idea
don't you
what's
swear
going
on the
on.
Bible that you walked on the moon?
It doesn't, sir, I don't have nothing to do with this, but
Okay.
you cannot solicit on this property.
We just paid
Right now,
to rent out the penthouse to shoot a.
Well, even if Aldrin did swear on the Bible that he walked on the moon, it wouldn't be good enough for this stupid.
So,
Well, no, wait, because this stupid asshole probably thinks that God is gonna smote him if he lies, or some shit like that. But wait, because the end, the video's having some problem. There we
I
go.
through my measure.
Now Buzz is
you gotta
his
keep shooting,
80s.
man. Okay. Well, you can put it on your shoulder. Don't be shy.
Come with me, Buzz.
The guy makes the mistake of following into the building.
You really like adventure, don't you?
You're the one who
And accuses him of
said you
lying.
walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black if ever thought of it. Saying I
Will you
misrepresented
get
myself.
away from me?
You're a coward and a liar.
That's the
And
last
a
straw.
thief.
There we go.
You're a coward and a liar. Pluck! Clocked him in the middle of the face. The guy went down like a sack of potatoes. It's amazing what some octogenarians can do.
Well, I mean, just a brief overview of the moon conspiracy theory. Every single one of their claims is easily debunked. I mean, it's eerie that every single main conspiracy theory relies on fabrications.
Oh, well.
If you take any event at any time, there's going to be anomalies in what you see based on, okay, in the case of the moon, the camera had these little crosses that you know, and
Yep.
they're claiming that, you know, the crosses didn't show up on the spacesuit, so the spaceman was superimposed, but the spacesuit was glaring white.
White, and the crosses were white, you fucking moron.
This little cross made at this hair thick cross was, I mean, you turn up
The telemetry crosses, they were white on white.
you turn up the contrast on anything, and it's going to wipe out the
Yep.
you know, the little tiny crosses and things, the little lines, and
And I'm thinking, I'm sorry, but if the astronaut was in front of the crosses, well, that means that he was inside the camera.
no, they're claiming superimposition. I mean, all this stuff. There have been multiple people who completely using like 1/20th scale diorama and you know, matching cameras from the period. They completely recreated all the visual anomalies in the film, and you know, it's the same with 9/11. These people don't use first generation video. They use, like, you know, fifth generation video, where of course you're going to get all sorts of weird. I bought a photo enhancement plugin called Topaz, and if you use Topaz, they have a feature called face recovery, and sometimes what they do is the little computer inside there, it recovers a face, and you end up with a perfectly photo quality face with the mouth sideways because of all the anomalies in the low resolution image. You know, you have people with lips that are like 4 inches, you know, 4 feet long, and This is the little computer trying desperately to make sense out of the low resolution image. And,
Right.
and you can't put a massively low, you see movies where it's like, zoom in and enhance, and they go dee 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 dee, and it's like, oh my God, it's Kevin Costner. No, it doesn't work that way. You can't.
It works that way in a spy movie.
In a spy movie, but
Yeah. I've been working on old pictures and daguerreotypes for the last 50 years since I was a teenager, and I have to say that the newest tools are nothing short of fucking amazing to me. But you can't do that.
no, I mean you can't. If the data isn't there,
If the data isn't there, you can't create it. Now, if you tell me that they're working on artificial intelligence for something that will guess what the absent data might have been like and creates it for you, and that a few years from now it's going to happen, probably yes.
but it
But as
won't.
of now, there is no such tool.
Also, it won't be a recreation. It's like those computer generated older. They take a child and they say this is what the child would look like as a 25-year-old. A hell of a lot of times it doesn't look anything like it.
No.
When
At best, it's a guess.
when they find a skull and they recreate the face using either clay or they make a
Yep.
drawing, that almost never looks like the person. Like it says people saw the drawing or the recreation and they said, by Jove, that's my friend Cindy. And you see the picture of Cindy and you see the recreation and it bears no resemblance,
But they want to see it.
Yeah, and it's the same. I mean, all of this stuff, the Kennedy assassination, the RFK assassination, all this stuff is based on either fabrications or completely expected anomalies. There's nothing airtight. This is why, so-called circumstantial evidence is often far more valuable than eyewitness evidence, videos. They just released a video of P. Diddy. They claimed beating a woman. Well, he doesn't beat her. He throws her to the ground. He kicks her in the rear end. He throws something at her, and it's awful. It's assault. He should have been arrested for that. But he never punches her. He never does, what is being claimed. And this is why, I mean, God help you if you're ever falsely accused of something, because you can have eyewitnesses that are completely mistaken, or they're lying for the attention, or they hate men, or they hate.
Anybody who's been around a courtroom more than once knows that there is nothing as unreliable as witness accounts.
Yeah, no, it's and in the case of videos, it all depends on the
Angle.
There's a
It depends
great,
on the angle. It depends on the perspective.
yeah, I mean there's an infamous case of what looks like a cop shooting to death an unarmed man, and then when you see the body camera footage from a different angle, you see that the guy had a gun in his hand, and you'll swear to God from.
Is that the one next to the white car?
Pardon me?
Is that the one next to a white car?
No, this is a different one. They're in a liquor store parking lot.
Okay.
And the guy turns around, and the lawyers of the family said he was raising his hand and they shot him. And then you see the video from a different angle, and he actually pulled out a gun, and the gun was in his hand when he was shot, but he was holding it. He was holding it like with one finger and the other. He was setting up an ambush, and it's. I don't know. We're living in an age of maybe it's always been this way. Just incredible dishonesty, and
my take is that it's always been like that, but we were more insulated.
That's probably right.
I mean, I never read the National Enquirer or Globe or any of the supermarket tabloids that used to be completely filled with this shit. Now, every TV channel, every radio station, everything is filled with Enquirer-worthy crap.
Well, and also the so-called there's some strange man who created a series called Family Guy, which if you're really hep, then you love it. There's nothing to love about it. It's
nothing.
Pretty as a brick, and
teenagers love it, but
it's one of those shows that is very lazy, and it does stuff that you're supposed to go, oh, ha ha ha, I get it, when there's nothing to get, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The creator is well into his 50s, and he's had so much cosmetic surgery, he looks like this eerie, sort of ageless man. And he was saying that journalists, we should only believe journalists because they're all trained, and a person, Joe Sixpack or whatever the term he used, I'm not going to believe him because he wasn't trained as a journalist. And it's like, okay, you know nothing about the state of journalism today with accountability journalism, where journalists are told they must inject their personal opinions and always determine who the villain in every story is. Yes. And so it used to be...
It is the Joe Goebbels School of Journalism.
Well, it used to be what, where, when, and that's about the only thing. I mean...
That's what they you see, in those days, they called them reporters.
Reporters, yeah.
And they reported.
Yeah.
A barn burned, on Route 11. Fire started at 11 a.m. It took two fire engines to put it out by 2 p.m. You could see the smoldering smoke. Nobody died, but a cow got her tail burned the hairs of its tail. And that's it. Then let me think about it. Well, then they started explaining to you. Well, on TV, they were showing you this and says, we can now see a cow. I know, asshole, I'm looking at the fucking cow.
Well, okay, if you go back in time, William Tecumseh Sherman had a famous quote about how, journalists were totally dishonest, and that if he had his way, he'd shoot them all, but then they'd be sending us dispatches from hell before breakfast every day. And, so I don't think there's ever really been a monolithic, fourth estate, guardian of truth and all that stuff. I think journalists have always been full of themselves, especially when you really make a living at it.
Yes, you're as much a fan of Mencken as I am.
Yeah,
Mencken was never full of himself.
No.
At the beginning of his career, he was a reporter, and he reported what he saw. And when he became how shall I say, an editorialist, and started giving his opinion, he always qualified it as such, never insulted the intelligence of his readers, and never pretended that his opinion was the news.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, I was a music journalist, and when I interviewed people, I always told them, I'll give you a copy of this so you can approve of it before I turn it in. And they were like, nobody's ever made that offer before.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, and I said, well, because this is about you, it's not about me. And they always made changes. The basis for Duran Duran said, don't change a word, it's perfect. And Gene Simmons of Kiss said, nah. And I was pissed off at the time, but I realized later it was a hell of a compliment. He wasn't indifferent. He just knew I was going to do a good job. And, and everybody else, they would change one little thing or another that didn't matter to me, but it was about them. And, they all hated journalists because journalists would already write the story before they spoke to the musician. And I thought that was like disgusting. It was a betrayal of your craft, I thought. But the guy who took over and reduced me to nothing was a black nationalist, and he started interviewing only black musicians, and all they talked about was racism and all that. And the magazine went
and Julius Caesar was black together with Queen Charlotte and Anne Boleyn.
Well, it was just endless complaining, and there were so many musicians who happened to be black, were very, 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 very successful, and had paved the way for lots of people behind them. And you could only get interviewed if you were ready to pitch. And it was a great way to wreck what was once a magnificent magazine. And I don't even know if it's still publishing anymore. I've totally lost interest because they lost their way, and it was just a real education for me, because I just saw firsthand how dysfunctional it all was. And now that Trump is steamrolling Joe Biden, they're going to try and save him with these ridiculous debates. Whoops, there goes Saul. Oh, there he is. Okay. Are you back? Okay.
I'm back.
They're gonna try and save Biden, and they're idiots because they're in both debates. The so-called moderators are going to gang up on Trump, and Trump isn't Mitt Romney. Trump isn't going to just sit there and take it. He's going to call him out on it, and it's going to be a catastrophe for not only Biden but the press. And they're going to wish they'd never agreed to this situation.
But by the way, before we go too much away from the last seconds, you know that my only work on any kind of music magazine was on Rolling Stone. In the beginning of '78. I was trying to get in there. I did an interview and photo reportage with Joe Cocker. And I don't think it would have made any difference if I gave him the work to approve, because he was completely blasted.
He what?
Completely blasted. He was at the Buenos Aires Sheraton Hotel. I was told to be there at 11 a.m. I have no idea why the fuck some asshole told me to be there that early. He didn't come downstairs until 3 p.m. and he was drunk as a skunk. That's that period of his life. I understand that later he improved. And by the way, I have to say, drunk as he was, he came on stage drunk. He drank while he was on stage, and I have no idea how he didn't fall from the stage. But what a musician he was.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same thing happen. I was supposed to do a feature article on a guy who showed up 3 hours late, and they gave me 15 minutes with him. And I wanted to brain him. We went to the kitchen, and they were throwing pots and pans at each other. I couldn't hear him. I was so angry. God, I've never been that angry. And I managed to get a one-page article out of it, but I was furious. And He didn't care.
I got a half a page and 5 pictures on the magazine.
Yeah.
And that was it, because after that, I went into the Marines, and you know the rest of the stories. Like, fuck it, by the time I went out of there, I did a little bit of work in Brazil, and that was it. That ended my journalistic experience.
Well, Rolling Stone was run by a leftist activist, and you know the magazine lost whatever credibility it used to have, and you know all the people that were lauded back in the day, you know, Hunter S. Thompson drank so heavily that he was physically cratered, so he called all his family to visit, and then he shot himself in the kitchen. It's like,
Bravo.
what a caring father and grandfather.
You know, I know another character who should do that to you know, make us all a favor. You know that Trump is already joking. I think he's already winning the debates before they even start.
Of course.
And he started claiming that Joe Biden needs to take a drug test before the debates to ensure that we don't have a repeat of the State of the Union.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show people what Trump was referring to.
Be pro-insurrection and pro-cop. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. Donald Trump lacked the courage to act. The brave women and men in blue all across this nation should never forget that.
Okay. Does he blink?
No, they've like, you know what it reminds me of? The Ukrainians killed some admiral who was in charge of the Black Fleet, and the Russians recovered his body, and they propped open his eyeball, and they had him attend a meeting, and everybody else was talking and interacting with Putin, and they filmed this guy. Basically, they had to put him up against some kind of wall. So he's sitting there, he's leaning back against the wall. He's just like, he didn't blink once.
No.
He was dead.
This guy, he's not propped up against the wall. They impaled him and put him as a prop. You know, kind of like the jalapeno on a stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's Biden, the president on a stick. He has something up his ass that's keeping him in place. Eyes wide open. And the monotone voice of the guy who does not even know what he's reading.
No, that's the widest I've ever seen his eyes. When he smiles, his eyes turn into these little slits. And
yes,
serious, he squints.
The squint, yeah.
And so, like, I've never seen that before. You know what it looked like? It looked like they put they pasted like wide open eyes over his real eyes, and I mean that was really eerie. Did you say that was the State of the Union?
This was not the State of the Union.
Pro-insurrection and pro-cop.
Yeah.
You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy.
You cannot be insurrection
You can't
and
be
pro-cop.
pro-insurrection and pro-American.
You cannot be pro-insurrection and pro-American.
Donald Trump lacked the courage to act. The brave women and men in blue all across this nation.
They all support Trump.
What the fuck is he even talking about, for crying out loud?
I mean, there was no insurrection. I mean, for God's sake, these people.
Well, you know what betrays him? The brave men in blue across this nation. Maybe he got mixed up January 6th with June 2020.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I mean, they don't even know. They're like Californians. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're saying. They're just like puking stuff out. They're in desperation, panic mode. Oh, nothing. Yeah. See, this is the thing about Democrats. they don't understand what's happening. And if you can't identify the real problem, then you can't fight against it. So they've lost the ability to perceive why and how Trump appeals to the general public. So their answer, okay, the guy from the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur,
Yes.
he said that America is a naturally far left country, and the Democrats aren't leftist enough, so that's why they vote for Trump. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. If you're far left and the Democrats aren't far left enough, you vote for the conservative. Makes perfect sense. But this is what he and the Democrats believe, that this is a far left country. And
Yeah,
so,
sure.
well, obviously we're not far leftist enough. So we're going to do more. And by God, they are. And they'll not understand or see or perceive why Trump won.
No. There's so many things they don't perceive. Cenk Uygur is another one of the oracles of doom.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, I'm so sick and tired of the moron. Of course, you know, he was going to run for president.
Yeah, even though he's not a natural born.
He's a Turkish national, but hey, what the fuck? And when his term is over, we can elect Erdogan to replace him. Moron on steroids. Somebody had to go and tell him to cut it out. Imagine that for a second. That's the intellectual level of this fucking idiot.
Well, he ran for Congress in California, and he didn't even show up on the results. Like, got like 8 votes or something. It was embarrassing, and
It should be. Now, speaking of embarrassing, I'll show you 2 short videos, and this shows that between the prophets of doom of the left and the prophets of doom of the so-called right, there's very little difference.
there never is.
There we go. Sorry about this. You may have flashbacks tonight.
Dare you attack
meeting will
the
suspend,
physical
meeting will
appearance of another
suspend.
person?
Are your feelings
How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person? Oh, shut up, fatso.
Her
hurt?
words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh my God, this is like the top insult.
Don't even play, with
Baby
me.
girl?
We're gonna,
I don't
We
think-
are gonna move, and we're gonna take your words down. Thank you very much.
Don't even play with me. Don't even play with me. Well, I'm gonna make a move, and we're gonna take your words down. There. Now, this didn't stop there.
That Miss Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
was
recognizes-
apologizing. No. She
Perry,
was
okay,
apologizing.
hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Miss Green
I'm not
still has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well, then
seconds.
you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words.
I am
Mr.
not
Chair,
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Come
Why
on,
don't you
guys.
debate me?
Mr. Chairman,
Face
Why
it.
don't you debate me? This is getting.
the minority.
pretty
No,
self-evident.
Chair you're not.
Yeah, you're
out
not.
of order.
You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd
the.
like to
I
strike
move to
those
strike the
words
lady's
as well.
words.
I would like to
Move to
strike
strike
those
the lady's
as well.
words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Oh, they cannot take the
There's
words.
another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right.
get
Okay.
your members under
Here's the
control.
correct apology. Miss Green, do you ask unanimous? Do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll
All
strike
right.
my words,
That-
but I'm not
all right.
apologizing.
Without objection. Without
Not
objection.
apologizing.
Chair
Reserving the right
recognizes-
to.
Okay. That Miss Green agrees to strike her word.
Without objection, without. Jerry Springer was an amateur.
Well, I mean, they do this all the time. I mean, they've done this over and over again, and you know, these hearings, what comes out of them? I'm looking for action, and you know, okay, now they're the House, oh, we're going to impeach Merrick Garland. And it's like, I'll believe it when I see it. So it's, I mean, I don't pay attention to, I mean, the Congress is full of people who lie, and they're mostly in it for their own benefit. And, remember that pig man, what was his name? He accused the Marines of murder. Murtha. Right. Murtha said he hated his constituents, but they voted for him because he gave them loot. And they all said that. We hate him. He's disgusting, but he gives us loot. And it's like, well then, we're back to what de Tocqueville said in 1839. It's like, we'll vote for anybody who gives us goodies.
Yes. Erase my debt.
Yeah.
Give me phones.
Yeah.
I voted for him because he gave me a phone.
Yeah.
No shit, Sherlock. We've seen this all the time. So we end up with this kind of moron. And then we think it's the end of the world because this kind of moron says so. We just got a comment on Twitter. I don't usually answer those, but we're going to make an exception before we leave you, boob. Why don't you talk about the $35 trillion in debt?
Well, I mean, what do you want us to say? It's bad. Okay, that's it.
Well, you think it's bad. I don't give a shit. I think this is like two people on death row playing poker, and one owes the other $17 trillion. Who gives a flying fuck? Neither is going to pay them.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking about this today, just while I was like, oh, that's nice. We have cops on my street.
Yeah, I can hear it. Finally, a cop. Maybe they're coming for your intruder 2 years ago.
That's pretty interesting. Okay, that's a fire truck. So somebody croaked or somebody fell, somebody did something.
Do you think maybe one of your neighbors fell on a chicken?
I don't mind. I mean, the cops are here, the fire engines are here. So
But by the way, if you owed a bank X and you could print money at will to pay the bank, whose problem is it?
Well, see, this is the thing that person that said, we're 35 trillion in debt. I'll bet they want to go back to the gold standard, and so then
Likely.
we can all make a salary of like $14 a year, and we can have bank panics, bank run,
Yes. And buy a shirt every 5 years.
Well, and the person who will bail us out will be like Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and you
God
think
forbid Jeff Bezos.
I'll do it for the at Bezos, yeah. I'll do it out of the goodness of my heart with no strings attached. Are you kidding? Like, this is an issue. I mean, people keep electing the people who do this, so this is why, what am I supposed to say? It's like,
and people keep asking the stupid questions. By the way, we are done with you booba for the night.
Okay.
You boobers, good night. And you can always come to Odyssey to see this thing in full. Pop